Executive Order on America's Supply Chains is essentially a call to action. It is this administration's opportunity to reform the critical supply chains that affect our economic prosperity and our national security. We can start to be more proactive and predictive where we think there are macro risks. For instance, the risk of cyber risk and cyber attacks to areas of critical infrastructure like our transportation systems or our electrical grid.
What we've seen with legacy regulations is typically industry, so private companies lead the charge in the way that we interact with government agencies through those regulations that are eventually put into place. So governments tend to lag behind the private sector by months, potentially years. And in this case, the government's leading the charge, and they are putting private industries on notice that there needs to be a deep review of supply chains to prevent reliance on other countries. And so the way that this is affecting private industries primarily is they now have to set up internal processes, policies, and procedures that enable them to inquire deeper than just third-party risk management.
What Exiger does to make it easier for our clients to manage their supply chain risk is we help them illuminate their portfolio from a product perspective, from an industry perspective, and we pull in very large amounts of data and aggregate it and create a visualization and a presentation of that information in a very digestible manner.
The COVID-19 crisis, the pandemic, was an economic crisis. It was a logistical crisis. It was a health crisis. And so it really strained every component of our market. And it strained every part of our critical infrastructure and our defense resources. And so the COVID-19 pandemic was really the ultimate stress test of our ability to maintain national security and economic prosperity in times of dire need. And what we saw was that our supply chains were not as resilient as we needed, and that they were actually a far cry from where they would ideally be. And so the COVID-19 response effort made it so that we now had clear evidence and proof that supply chain resilience was required for our national security. It was required for our ability to defend ourselves, but it was also required for our economy to function.
I think a lot of companies in the past have been willing to push risk downstream. And so they say, I don't really want to know where you got this from, but as long as you're getting it to me at a certain price, I'm happy, because then I can sell this product, I can transform it the way that my company does, and I can sell it, back up the stream. So there's a lot of blame shifting. And I think if you're forced to account for the people that you're doing business with, then you can't just shift the blame, because you are now saying, when you sell this product, I stand behind this product, but I also stand behind the people that I've vetted to give me the products that go into the product I'm selling you.
When you're asked to review your supply chains, you literally have billions of records per month of shipments and commerce data. You could potentially have tens of thousands of vendors, each with their own suppliers. And so you start to multiply your supply chain partners exponentially. So today, the only way to thoroughly interrogate supply chains is by using tech-enabled tools that highlight risks for you, highlight weaknesses for you, using natural language processing and artificial intelligence to draw out very quickly, in a matter of days or weeks, the tens or hundreds of millions of records. Clover, how many words can you make out of the word Exiger?
I looked it up on Scrabble and the answer is 20.
There's so many when I think of the word Exiger, but my favorite probably is egg, gig, Rex, and the Chinese version of thank you, shishi.